Exomologiste to Kyrio te agathos, alleluia.
Otis ton neona to eleos aftu, alleluia.
How you do Revelations? You're right. Yeah.
What are you talking about? That's fine, address the context. If you bring something, I'll address the context.
Are you seeing Allah within the realms of creation?
He's asking about Allah not being within the
So, but you're seeing him within the realms of creation, right?
give the argument why Allah.
Are you seeing him within the realms of creation? Are you seeing him within the realms of creation? Yes or no? Is Allah going to show himself within the realms of creation, or are you leaving creation? Sorry, I'm going to ask you again. Are you seeing? Did I ask about Allah or did I say
Allah's essence in creation. How can you see Allah?
literally? It quite literally says that Allah is going to come as a snake.
Same way, the heavens and earth are created in a certain way. Meaning, I'll give you an example. Your house doesn't have a roof. The roof is removed. You can see that which is above it does not necessitate is within the house. Again, so the same way, you don't necessitate Allah being in creation.
Clarify.
He's above all of it.
Is it still going to be perceived by someone or something that is material?
Sure.
So how
Sight-
can okay, hold on.
I'm not doing one. I'm not doing one word response.
What we can agree is that the human will perceive Allah, but then we have the other verse which says that all sides cannot encompass a full essence of Allah. So what we affirm is we will see Allah be there to He within His essence, but can the sight we have encompass Him? No. Doesn't mean He's not showing Himself. Be there to
So the sight you have can't encompass him. So how are you seeing Allah unless he's actually making himself
You don't have
visible
to.
by your eyes?
You don't have to. We don't believe. Again, you don't have to see X fully for you to.
Yeah. So
Are you
wait.
perceiving him with
Okay, wait.
your
Let me
own
talk
eyes?
to him real quick. Let me talk to you real quick.
Not
'cause
you,
you got-
like the human side.
So wait. So the sight is an imperfect sight, meaning you see him in such a way, but the way that you see him is not complete or perfect, right?
Sorry,
Okay.
she's just yapping in the background.
Wait,
Okay.
I'm doing that.
So wait. The sight, the way that you see Allah is imperfect, meaning you see him in a way, but this way that you see him is not complete, right? The same way that.
Okay, yeah, I'll still man the position again to make it very clear. On the Day of Judgment, we won't, and in Jannah or heaven,
Yeah.
we won't have the exact same modality of sight. First of all. Second of all, now Allah Allah will reveal Himself bidati within His essence. Just because we can't see the full essence does not mean we don't see Allah in reality, meaning haqiqatan.
Okay.
literally.
Now let me explain something to you. Christians can agree that we see God, right?
So you guys believe He takes a form. We don't believe on the Day of Judgment He takes a form. Irenaeus, like when he mentions the sight of seeing the Ancient of Days, when Irenaeus talks about seeing the Ancient of Days, right? He doesn't believe it like you're going to see Him in His essence, God Himself.
Okay, look.
Anyway, I can debate you in a second. We wanted to watch this. I'm planning to discuss with life and
Yeah, it's not really a debate, it's kind of a discussion. But the point is, when I say that we see God, what I'm saying is that we fully experience the divine essence. That's what we're saying.
That's not an analogy. What's the argument that is the only way to say you see God?
I'm not saying that's the only way to say you see God. I'm saying that the way that you say that you see God is incompatible with proper theological and metaphysical science.
Not
The reason why is because if you're not talking about sight in that way, and you're talking about, there's how many ways can we say we see something?
Depends. We have to give the argument.
Physically, spiritually, and metaphorically, right?
Not necessarily.
What other way?
You could see something literally, but it doesn't mean it has to be physical, right?
Okay, what does literal mean?
For example, literal can just refer to seeing something that exists and perceived by the five senses. And by the way,
Ananda, what are you saying, my bro?
this is argued in, like, for example, early theologians like Ibn Sina, Ibn Rushd.
Yeah.
Ibn
Ibn
Taymiyyah
Rushd,
also,
yeah. Ibn Sina.
Ibn Taymiyyah also argues this, where,
Yeah.
for example, it's fallacious to say there's only going to be X amount of modalities to see.
Yeah.
Because again, we don't believe that these modalities are going to be based within objectivity. They're just philosophical claims. Like again, we can say that we
What do
see
you mean?
Allah
Philosophical claims point to something in reality, right?
not always. That's not what's the argument for that.
Philosophy is about reason, right? It's about
Reason,
truth.
Not only that, but it doesn't always encompass reason. For example, multiple philosophers
Oh my gosh.
believed in, and again, they believe.
Philosophia means love of wisdom.
Yeah, that's fine, but that doesn't mean all philosophy points to objective reality.
What? When I say it points to objective reality, all I'm saying is when we make a
Are you
philosophical.
speaking generally, or are you
Okay,
speaking
listen,
absolute?
track what I'm saying. When I say that we make a philosophical claim about something, I'm saying we are making a truth-tracking claim about that thing. So, for example, if I make the philosophical claim that black men are wise, right? That's about the subject, black men, the predicate, wisdom, and how we join those things together in concordance with our experience and reality. So philosophical claims allow us to have knowledge which we import from reality. So what are you talking about? Here's the main point that you don't understand. The main point is we have three categorical distinctions when we come to the meaning of a term.
Can you give the argument?
Well, in this specific instance,
you
yeah,
give
I
an
can
argument?
I can demonstrate it ostensively. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, sure. You can demonstrate it.
What is ostensive
But that-
demonstration?
It just means you can demonstrate it within reality, based on.
Yeah, ostensive demonstration means that I can
Just
point.
practically.
Yeah, I
point
can
out
practically
within
point it out to you. Thank you. So,
Yeah, that's
for example,
But that's
when
not
you
what
say,
I'm arguing.
listen
Sure, you
to what
can-
I'm saying,
Yo,
bro.
you
Why are
can-
you
sure,
making an
can
argument when I'm
look, you can
explaining my point?
The same, that doesn't follow. Same way you can ostensibly prove that ostensibly there's no argument for God. But sure, we can make the theological claim.
What are you
there is.
saying? That there's, look, oh my God.
Wait, ostensibly there is no argument. for
okay,
God.
okay, so
But the
it-
argument for God comes from a theological basis.
Okay, when you say
and
that's
a
just
logical.
when you made that claim, ostensibly there's no argument for God.
Meaning in
that's
reality, physically.
Yeah, that's false because Austin Woodbury in his Metaphysics, Ostensive Metaphysics, page 261, literally gives a conductive argument for God. Whether the argument,
Conductive,
listen,
But his
let me
argument is going to
finish.
be based on the logic, so, the laws of logic.
Oh my gosh,
and
it's
so
still gonna be an ostensive argument.
By the
Listen,
definition,
bro, can I
meaning
finish?
physically
Why do you keep
demonstrate,
interrupting
it
me?
doesn't follow.
Ostensive argument on ostensive metaphysics deals with demonstrating.
right?
Ostensive in Latin means pointing out something. So ostensive metaphysics, even if
That's what you're
oh my gosh,
because you said
bro,
I
can I
literally
finish?
ostensibly-
Ostensive metaphysics, even if you have logical presumptions, you are still going to be pointing out something in reality. So if you can make an ostensive metaphysical argument for the existence of God, it doesn't matter if it has assumptions about
Ostensively
logical laws.
metaphysical.
So the point is, listen, the point
You're not
is,
clarifying.
go back to the point. The point is,
Yes.
with the term sight or seeing Allah, there's three categorical types of sight that we can employ in this specific instance. Physically seeing something, spiritually seeing something, and metaphorically seeing something. Metaphorical is a liturgical device that we use.
Physicality is gonna be a
Metaphorical is a
predicate.
liturgical device that we use to express figurative language.
No, because
so are you
physicality-
saying it's figurative, spiritual, or physical? Which one?
Yeah. Again, physicality meaning in of itself is going to be subject to how X exists. So I don't believe humans are going to exist in the exact same way, or their sight is going to be exact same on the day.
But
of
they're
God.
going to exist, right?
Meaning they're going to exist. The plane
Okay.
of existence, the modality of existence,
Existence is not going to be the same. Obvious, that's just
So now
trivial.
when we're saying,
That's
when we're saying
trivial.
the sight that
That's
they will see
obvious.
Allah with, they will see Him be that here in His essence. But it
Okay.
doesn't mean they encompass His whole essence
Okay,
with this.
fine. I listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying that I
that's an
can.
argument. You need to give a reductio to what I said.
What you said was not an argument. You didn't give me any reason to entail your conclusion. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I can agree with you in a certain respect that we see God. When I say we see God, I am saying as an Eastern Catholic Christian that is figurative, which for Aquinas is literal. Like figurative language does fall under literal categories. But the point is that it's figurative. But it's figurative.
Again,
You're not saying it's
define
figurative. That's the point.
Define figurative.
Yeah, figurative is when you use figures or liturgical devices of speech that are not necessarily present in reality, but are only present in our language or our relational network of language to elicit a certain idea or
Now, can
proposition.
something that is going to be seen figuratively be perceived by the five senses in its essence?
Yeah, I can say that I figuratively see God or I figuratively see Jesus Christ on the
For example,
cross.
if I say
Is it figurative for you?
no, again, we affirm it's haqiqatan. If you can't track
Okay.
Arabic language and how we
Oh my
define
gosh.
certain terms within our creedal doctrines, then that's not my issue.
Any term that you use in language is always going to have to signify something. So what does it signify in English?
Yeah, in haqiqatan refers to something where you literally see, but it does not necessitate that they are bound by atom size, space, and so on.
Okay, so refers to something that you literally see.
Yes, but
Okay.
it doesn't have to be bound by atom size, time and space.
Fine. So you are spiritually seeing them.
Not necessarily, because spiritual is not literal sight.
Okay.
Spiritually seeing something means, for example, if my
When you're in
spiritually
Jannah,
sees the truth, does not mean I literally see.
wait, when
something.
you're in Jannah, are you there with your physical body seeing Allah, or are you there with your soul, your spiritual nature
we
seeing
believe
Allah?
we believe we'll have a literal body.
Okay, but which one are you going to use? Which faculty are you going to use to operate the vision, the sight? Which one are you going to use?
see Allah,
Are you going
to
to use your physical body or your soul or your spirit?
Yeah, again, you're necessitating that. Again, we can claim, sure, we'll see him with our sight, our literal sight, but that does not necessarily.
Yeah, which one? Which one?
Hold up,
The
let me
soul
finish.
or the body?
The literal sight, your eyes, be ionic.
Yeah, your physical eyes or your like what are you saying?
What,
Your physical
do you
eyes.
have eyes in your heart?
Oh my gosh! For example, you don't understand what we're saying.
Spiritual eyes is a non sequitur.
in-
It has nothing to do with
It's not a non sec. What?
We don't
are
literally
you
have
saying?
spiritual eyes. When I'm saying eyes, I mean the eyes, literal eyes.
Yeah, non sequitur is when the conclusion doesn't follow from the premises.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't give you. I didn't give
the
you an.
conclusion. The conclusion you're trying to establish.
I didn't-
Is either
I didn't-
Wait, the conclusion is we
Go
either have
ahead.
to figuratively see him, spiritually
Yeah,
see him,
yeah.
or what do you call it? Literally, physically see him.
Yeah.
So again,
You
it's
said
a
there's no-
It's a non sequitur to say.
Go
Do you
ahead.
see him with your eyes? Spiritually.
Okay. Yeah.
What spiritual
Okay.
eyes?
Listen.
What's the argument with
I will
spiritual
teach
eyes?
you. No worry. What is the nous in Eastern metaphysics? Go ahead.
Again, you define it. You're
Oh
making
my
an
gosh.
argument.
You said there's no such thing as spiritual sight. If you don't know what the nous is
In our paradigm.
as the
in our paradigm, yeah.
Okay, so in your paradigm then, so how's that a blunder for me? If you don't know what nous is,
critiquing my idea of God.
I'm not internally critiquing anything.
'Cause you're saying
An
you-
internal critique is when I adopt your framework and try to derive a contradiction from your framework. I'm not doing that.
Meaning,
I'm
referring
saying
to when I brought
you're
the
not
hadith,
tracking.
When I brought the hadith, you're trying to critique. When I said
Okay,
Allah looks,
he's
we
not
see Allah
tracking.
like we see
Listen,
the moon.
listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
Are you experiencing Allah or seeing Allah with your soul or your physical eyes in Jannah?
We'll see him with our literal eyes. Yes.
Okay, he keeps saying literal eyes,
Yeah, because we define
but
it
for
as
me, spiritual sight and physical sight is literal. So are you saying when you say literal, are you saying when you say literal, physical sight?
Not necessarily, because physical.
Then what are you saying? Oh my God! What is he saying, bro?
Literality doesn't have to be predicated only. To,
Okay,
for
so
example,
is it physicality or
am I able
spirituality?
to finish? Cut me off one more time and then this.
Yeah, ending this because you want to run away
No,
and expose,
'cause you can't
and I'll
shut
still
your mouth.
expose your blunder if you run. So
Anyways,
save
yeah.
yourself right now.
So literality is just going to refer to, for example, because
Yeah.
the reason I'm saying literally because I'm referring to Allah being literal. Now, if you're referring to when we have physical eyes and see through them, sure, I can grant that. But when we're talking about
Okay.
Allah be seen in bidati, Allah will be there literally,
Okay.
but we don't believe He'll be مدخل في شيء. We don't think He'll
Okay, wait,
enter within anything.
Okay, so wait, hold on. You're saying a bunch of stuff. Let's clarify and break it down for
No,
everyone
it's
to
quite
understand. Let's break it down. So, you agree in Jannah you will see physically Allah's essence.
Meaning we will have physical eyes, but Allah himself will not be physical.
Okay, so you will see Allah's essence. I'm not asking about whether Allah himself is physical.
Yeah, we will see his essence outside of creation, yeah.
Okay, with your physical eyes.
Sure, with our literal eyes, but if you want to define it physically.
Okay, this is the problem. In physical science, physics, our eyes adopt and abstract objects in reality, right? Because the objects exist in the space-time continuum, as Albert Einstein wrote in his paper in 1813, General Theory of Relativity. So the point is, anything that we see, like the trees, like human beings, whatever, are going to be bound in space, time, light, and whatever. So okay, you don't believe. Okay, let me finish. If the properties that are required for physical sight to function are not present in Jannah, then how are you functioning your eyesight in Jannah to see Allah?
No issue, yeah. Because we don't believe the eyesight, meaning like you're going to have the same eyesight, meaning pupils reflecting light.
But you just said you're going to use your physical eyes to see Allah.
That doesn't necessitate that the eyes are going to be the same. The beginning of the debate or the beginning of the discussion.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
that the human body and the
so your
human
physical
sight will be different, and it will be made.
Oh my God.
The modality will not be the same. So
Okay.
your whole argument is based off the presupposition
listen.
that we believe that our eyes have to reflect light in Jannah.
Okay.
Reflect off
So your
Allah
physical
to be able to
body,
see Him.
I'm not saying your physical, for example, you could literally, someone could literally take away your eyes, right? And take his eyes and put them into your eyes. That's not the point, bro. Whether you get a glorified physical body, as far as it's physical, anything that's physical or material is gonna have something called extension. Okay? I don't define matter as Tiger defined it with tangibility. Anything that's material has extension. So if it has extension, right, that's where we get the general theory of relativity, where you get space, time, and the gravitational force. I didn't say Allah has to be physical. Your physical body has to have extension because it's a body. It has to have space, right?
Again, you're not tracking your own argument. Your argument is that humans will physically
I'm not even
see
making an
Allah,
argument.
for humans to physically see that the light has to bounce off X object, then bounce back to the eyes, and then obviously that perception. That's how eyes work and how sight works.
Okay.
Now that doesn't apply to Allah bi-dhatihi, because we don't believe both the eyesight will be the same way, the human eyesight
the same way,
within Earth.
Okay,
that's the first thing. Second thing, seeing Allah bi-dhatihi doesn't necessitate that Allah has to have light bouncing back and forth for us, for our receptors to be able to perceive it.
Okay, would you agree that there's a difference in metaphysics between what something is and the way that it is? What something is and its mode. Okay, so there's a difference between the mode of something and what the thing is. For example, what he is a man, but the way that he is right now is standing looking at you. Okay, so no matter how he changes whatever way he is, whether he chooses to lie down on the road right now, he's still going to be a human being, no matter what.
No, but the modality of how he is as a human, meaning in which he perceives things, because the modality of human sight will differ even between humans. For example, blind people, they may have eyes, but light doesn't bounce back and forth. The modality in which something exists, lives, sees, hears, and so on is different.
The modality in which something exists, but the thing is going to be the same.
Same way, like I can argue from the Old Testament understanding, because me personally, I come from a tribe that is Jewish. Now, the Old Testament God necessarily can hear, but it does not necessitate. And the rabbis
it's figurative. I just told you.
No, I can bring multiple rabbis, like, for example.
I don't care about the rabbis. Christianity existed before Judaism.
Not about Christianity.
I said Christianity.
I said the Old Testament Jewish God. Anyways.
Yeah, the Old Testament Jewish God is Jesus Christ.
I'm not gonna. Are we gonna argue that?
I don't care about your opinion. That's true.
I didn't say that's my opinion. I said we can argue that in a second.
Okay.
Anyways.
What's
so
the
yeah,
claim that I'm making right now?
they don't
Track the
believe-
conversation.
They don't believe that, for example, sound waves have to bounce in and out with God's ears.
Yeah.
They believe you can literally hear, but the modality of hearing is not going to be.
It's irrelevant to what the Jewish rabbis believe. Listen to what I'm saying. You're talking to me.
Isn't that?
You're-
Can you still man what I
You're
said?
talking to me.
Still man what I said.
I don't want to steal man what you said because it's irrelevant.
Okay, no issue then. Good.
Oh, you want to run away?
You don't want to steal man what I said.
I don't want to steal man what you
don't
said.
want to
It's
steal man what I
irrelevant to
said,
the
then there's no
conversation.
point. It is relevant.
Repeat what you said for everybody.
Still man what I said.
Repeat what you said for
Steal
everybody.
man what I said. If
Okay,
you're not gonna,
fine.
then the
Fine.
conversation's over.
We're going to steal man what you said,
Steal
and I'm
man.
going to break down why
Go on.
what you said is a
Go on.
blunder. So, for example, you literally just said in the Old Testament, Yahweh or the Old Testament God can I'm not saying that's what you said word for word. I'm saying that's what you said in content.
Okay,
What are you
go
saying?
on. No, but that's not necessarily what I said actually. But anyways, continue. I'm going to tell you what I said after.
Anyways, you said the Old Testament God, right, hears us. And then you said,
Not us, but generally.
oh my gosh. Okay, just repeat what you just said for everybody.
Yeah, to steal man.
Because he wants to say word for
According to
word.
understanding of multiple, like again, rabbinic works, the Old Testament God can hear, but does not necessitate that that hearing is going to be based off sound waves and so on. Even
Okay.
modern day exegetic works.
Okay. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. There's a difference between what something is and the way that it is. So,
I'm arguing modality.
let me finish. So, if you have a physical body and you have physical eyes, okay, and physicality by definition requires extension, meaning anything that is physical exists or at least has space. It occupies space. Anything that's physical occupies space. If anything that's physical occupies space, then your eyes are going to occupy space.
We don't believe space is uncreated. We believe it's abstract even in our creed.
Okay.
Like, for example, we believe it's conceptual based on creation.
Yeah.
Like for example, even like when multiple theologians from like the Ash'ari school of creed within this Muslims, where they make the argument, okay, do you believe Allah is fawqa al-arsh?
That's not relevant. For example, there's Christians.
Again, space is going to be conceptual. You
Okay,
have to have
whether
that
space is conceptual is irrelevant because even for me, can I talk? Even for me, space is conceptual. It doesn't exist as a substance. It's ridiculous to think that space exists as a substance. But space is still, like every other abstract object, going to signify something in concrete reality, which is going to be the distinction, which is going to be the relationship between
X and Y.
between other physical objects, and that relationship is going to be made or constituted by extension. For example, he's a different man from me. You agree?
Have the space between you two, yeah.
Okay, me and him don't occupy the same space, even though space is conceptual. We don't occupy that same conceptual portion of space, right? So whether space is conceptual, it doesn't matter because what the concept signifies are things is the relationship in reality. So if you have a physical object, which is the can I finish? Can I finish? The eye. Let me finish.
You're completely not.
Let me finish.
The
The eyes are physical, correct?
Yeah, sure, but the modality in which.
Okay,
that
it doesn't
meaning
matter.
light
Oh my
bouncing
God.
Back and forth. That is a whole argument.
Oh my gosh.
Meaning light bouncing back and forth, having to necessitate certain things X, Y, and Z, or the eyes that we have.
I'm not saying light has to bounce back and forth.
But that is a necessity when it comes to viewing things, physical
What?
things.
It's not a necessity, it's contingent. Always say. How you doing, bro? You're right.
Can you
Damn.
see anything without light bouncing back and forth between your eyes and X object?
Right now, no, but it's still going to be contingent. For example, can I reverse this conversation and go back in time? No, but that's still going to be, it's still going to be a contingent fact that I'm talking to you right now and I spoke to you in the past. It's still going to be contingent. It's not going to be necessary. So the whole point is, because you don't understand the difference between necessity and contingency, sorry. You don't understand the difference between metaphysical necessity and metaphysical contingency. So metaphysical necessity is when something's essence is the existence of the thing. Metaphysical contingency is when something receives its existence. So the eyes, right? and the properties and all that allow the eyesight to function is going to be metaphysically contingent.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fine.
So if it's metaphysically contingent and your eyes are physical, then the properties that you're going to use to see Allah is going to be physical.
Not necessarily, because I don't believe that the only sort of metaphysical, like we don't believe that only sort of vision we're going to have, it has to be metaphysically contingent. For example, Allah will allow us to perceive.
Oh my gosh.
Modality.
Oh wow. So your sight, the way that you see Allah is metaphysically necessary?
In what sense?
Yeah. In the sense that I just said that the essence of the thing is going to be the same as its existence. For example,
but that's my point.
For example, God is metaphysically necessary, but God's being is the same as his existence, meaning every single time you have existence, you have God. Are you saying that for your own sight, the way that you see Allah?
My argument is, when you're referring
So what are
to
you saying?
contingency, I don't believe it's going to be contingent on light, space, and time to see Allah be there to here. That's my argument.
Okay,
And you keep on
I
going
didn't say-
over, but that is literally the argument.
Okay, what I'm saying is, listen, I want you to still mind what I'm saying, the way that I still mind what you're saying.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
You stopped.
Okay, physical sight, when you have physical sight or physical bodies, you must have extension. They must extend somewhere. Sure. You agree? You agree? Okay. So he just conceded that when you have a physical body, it must have extension.
If it's within
For anybody,
creation, yeah.
for anybody that doesn't know what extension is, because me and G we can talk, but in speaker's corner we have to clarify. Extension, right, is when the thing occupies space. Right. So when you say it doesn't occupy space, you're disagreeing to what you conceded to.
Conceding to is regarding where Allah
Because you said it has extension. It has extension, right?
human has extension.
Yeah, so your physical sight of Allah has extension. Are you tracking?
No, because we won't see Allah within creation. Are you tracking? I already said the same way we believe Allah is fawqa al-arsh, above the throne.
Okay.
We don't believe
Okay.
He will come into creation.
Okay.
Same way if you have a
Please.
house, you remove the
Okay.
roof, does not necessitate that X above the house has to enter within the house to see it.
Okay. So this, right? Physical body, right?
That's a D?
Physical body. Physical body. That's what I just wrote. Physical
That's a D.
body. Yeah, that's a D. Yeah, I'm writing fast. Now, physical body.
An A, but yeah.
Physical body, right, equals extension. Let's just use E for extension. Okay? So, physical body equals extension. You agree? You agree?
Yeah.
Now, E equals OS, right? E, extension, equals occupying space, correct?
Sure, when within,
Okay.
when within creation, yes. When within creation.
Are physical bodies created?
I'm saying, yeah, that's why I'm applying it to the human, but I'm not going to apply that same logic to
We're not talking about Allah. We're talking about
I
how
know,
you.
I'm,
So then what are you
I'm going to
saying?
relate it back to Allah in a second. That's my
Okay,
argument.
just stick to what I'm saying. Don't think about what you're gonna do. Think about what I'm saying. Okay, for now.
What you're saying is going to relate back to what Allah...
Listen, because you're not tracking. The way that you see Allah, right, is you have a physical body, which equals extension, which equals occupying space. Okay, so you occupy space when you see Allah.
Yeah, sure. The human.
Okay, so OS. So when you see Allah, C S E E A equals OS. So when you see Allah requires you occupying space.
Human, yes, specifically.
Okay. You are a human when you see Allah in Jannah, right?
Yeah, I'm saying the human specifically, yeah, in this instance.
Okay. But you are a human when you see Allah in Jannah.
Nah, I'm a dog.
Okay. Because what you're saying is trivial. Why are you saying that if you're still going to be a
this only
human?
applies to the human, yeah.
Okay, that's trivial. Duh. Like what? Anyways, look. So in Jannah, when you see Allah, you occupy space, right? So that means that you seeing Allah requires you to occupy space. right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
To exist in the
okay.
first place,
So you seeing Allah requires you to occupy
to
space in
exist
Jannah.
in the first place, to exist in the first place, you have to occupy space.
Yeah, but for
As a
you
human.
to,
As a human, yeah.
but for you to see,
That's non-analogous to the Allah.
for you to see Allah,
To
you
even
have.
exist in Jannah, you have to occupy space as a human.
Okay,
that's not
so you have to
something
occupy space, correct?
proves nothing to the
Okay,
argument,
fine, fine. So the eyes occupy space, correct?
Sure.
Okay,
But the
so that
modality
means-
in which we see does not necessarily have
Okay,
to occupy space.
okay. But the way that you see, right, is going to depend on your physical eyes, right?
No, not necessarily. I don't believe that in general. No.
So then it's not a physical sight then.
No, because again, I didn't say it's physical sight. I said it's literal, meaning you're going to see it with your real eyes.
Oh
but
my
the
gosh.
modality-
Earlier you said it's
The
literal.
eyes are physical, literal. But the
Earlier
literal,
when
the
you said it's
modality-
literal, you said it's physical.
Yo, the modality is going to be haqiqatan, but the eyes are going to be physical.
Okay, so the eyes are physical, but the way that you see him is spiritual.
It's going to be literal. We don't believe it's going
Yeah.
to be physical.
Oh my God! Listen, bro. Are you tracking? Listen. Physical falls under. Literal falls under. Sorry, physical and spiritual fall under literal, right?
To be the same category.
Okay,
Because
listen.
spiritually, for
Physical.
example, spiritually seeing Allah would be feeling Allah in your heart or whatever it be according to the Islamic definition.
The literal meaning of a word, in this case, can be physical or spiritual. So when you
Or
say,
literal.
yeah.
You don't
So
have
when
to
you say,
deem it to spirit. Spirit in of itself, according to our paradigm, would be anything you feel within.
bro, this is so. Oh my gosh. Okay.
If Allah is with
Bro,
me spiritually, it
listen,
means I feel
okay.
His presence and so on.
Okay.
It doesn't follow that I have to
Listen.
agree to your category.
What am I saying? What am I saying?
Regarding which part?
What I'm saying right now. What's my point right now?
You made 2 points. You said that sight, right, either has to be physical or spiritual or metaphorical. Now, spiritual, according to our definition, if Allah is with me spiritually, that means I feel Him with me. So if I'm seeing Allah spiritually, it means I'm seeing His guidance.
Okay.
That's not how I believe it. I believe
Okay.
we will see Allah bi dhatihi. Obviously, the sight, the literal sight.
Give the example you just gave again. Allah is with you spiritually and what?
Yeah, Allah would be with us spiritually, just means I feel Him with me.
Okay.
His presence.
Okay.
Now,
That would be figurative.
that would be the spiritual. Spiritually feeling with me.
What? Okay. What you just
Spiritually
described?
feeling Allah with me. If I spiritually feel that, if Allah spiritually with me, it means I feel His presence with me.
Yeah.
So that's
But I'm
what it
saying
means. That's not Allah actually being with me.
I'm saying you saying that you
So your
feel.
whole thing about spiritual,
Okay,
I don't follow
go
Thomas
ahead.
Aquinas' definition.
I'm not using Thomas Aquinas. What are you
That's the
talking
basis.
about?
Your whole thing about where Thomas Aquinas defines spiritual to be literal, either way, vice versa, right? I don't hold to that.
That's the way that I'm using it in the conversation. I'm not.
That's
I'm not
fine. I
forcing
don't
you.
hold that.
I'm not forcing you to hold it. I'm not forcing you.
That's fine, but I define what I
Listen.
said. I said the eyes would be physical.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
The modality in which we see would be literal
Yes.
because it wouldn't be bound
Right.
necessarily to light
To
perception
space.
and
Yeah.
so on.
So it wouldn't be bound to space and time. Correct.
Meaning the modality, sure.
Yeah. So the way that you see him wouldn't be bound to space and time. Fine.
Modality itself, yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's
know, I'm
yeah. The
clarifying.
modality is the way that you see him.
Clarifying, yes.
Okay, so the way that you see him, or the modality of your sight, is not going to be bound to space and time. So it's not going to be physical.
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be literal, but spiritual for us follows a different definition.
Okay,
So
okay.
sure, if you
So-
want to define it
oh my
according
gosh.
to Thomas Aquinas' definition.
I'm not using
as
Thomas
spiritual-
Aquinas. When did I use Thomas
No,
Aquinas in this
earlier,
video?
I'm saying you defined him earlier. You defined him saying spiritual.
When did I define-
Yo, earlier you literally said Thomas Aquinas, and I know
Yeah.
what you're referring to. His definition
I use him as an
spiritual
example.
is
He's not the one that
I
that
know, but I'm
defines
saying
it this
I don't
way.
hold specifically to that definition. So if
Okay,
you want to
it
define
doesn't
that,
matter.
If you want to define that spiritual, sure. But I'm
Look,
clarifying
let me give you an
my terms
example.
that we literally see.
Okay, maybe I'm gonna grant it to you. Maybe you're actually confused. So I'm gonna give you an example. For example, if I use the word, perfect example. So in Second Chronicles 8, it calls. Let me use an example, brother. It calls a woman Abigail. In Hebrew, it's Abigail, right? Which means father of joy, right? Now, Abigail is applied to a woman, okay? The way that the Jays understood it is that she is the one, the Jews. The way that the Jews understood it is that she understood she possesses joy so perfectly that they call her Abigail, right? Now, if someone,
I know what you're referring to. They didn't understand father to be literal. The same.
right? Wait. Let me finish,
Yes.
so I can clarify. If someone comes to a Jew and says, well, I understand what you're saying. Well, she has joy, but I don't want to call her Abigail, the father of joy, because she's a woman. That's irrelevant. Me and the person already agree that she possesses joy.
Sure, but
So
again,
it's irrelevant to the application
but
of the
the
term. We
application
agree on the content of the term.
the content of the term. That's why I said, if you want to define, for example, spiritual to fall under literal, meaning you can see him with your eyes, but does not necessitate atom, space, and time, you can define it like that. But
Yeah.
my definition will be, you see Allah haqiqatan, literally,
Okay.
without him being bound
Yeah.
to space, time, and atoms, and so on.
Yeah.
We see him literally. You
Okay.
can define that spiritual. I don't
Okay.
care. I'm defining my terms, and that's the conversation.
Okay. When I say spiritual, I'm saying it operates off the soul. Do you believe that it operates off the soul at all?
What?
I want to see if we agree on content. So do you believe that it operates off the soul at all in any sense? The way that you see Allah.
Yeah, but what do you mean by operates off the soul? Meaning we perceive Allah.
Like for example, the way that I'm standing right now operates off my physical body. So it's a physical operation. The way that you see Allah, is that a spiritual operation? Does it operate from your soul? Does it come from your soul?
Does it come from the soul? No, not necessarily. I believe that the modality.
Okay.
Haqiqah,
Let me clarify for the audience. So the way that he sees Allah is not from his physical body in Jannah, and it's not from his soul. So in what way is he a person who is combined with the soul and the body seeing Allah if it's not from his soul or his body? What is he saying? It's a meaningless statement.
Yeah, because
It's a meaningless proposition. A meaningless statement, sorry.
Although Ibn Rushd and Ibn Sina are heretics in creedal things, they do mention regarding the beliefs.
So it has meaning. Then what are you pointing at?
Yeah, again,
Okay, go ahead.
Within Arabic theology, we have multiple models of like seeing things or existing things and so on. Now, the Arabic philosophers use the word haqiqatan, something existing literally, but not being bound by space, atoms, and time. That's me granting that your categories, that your, for example, philosophers, metaphysics, science, metaphysicians, and so on, divine. I don't hold to that. I hold to Ibn Taymiyyah's definitions and classifications.
Okay.
I hold to Ibn
Okay.
Rushd, who mentions
Yeah.
the other.
Would you agree that when you define something, it has to signify or mean something?
Sure. Semantics.
Meaning, even so, if I define man, right, or if I define milk, right, whether someone from Spain calls milk leche in Spanish, it's irrelevant. We mean
Not
the same
necessarily,
thing.
because like again, wait, because I don't believe there's like an equivalent word to haqiqatan existing. But our philosophers, even then, for example,
I'm not saying there has to be an equivalent word. I'm saying, do we mean the same thing? If you're Spanish, Aki, right, and you come to me and you say this is milk, and you say leche, and I say milk, we mean the same thing. Even if you, as a Spanish person, you might not have a word for milk, we mean the same thing, right?
saying
There's a
leche
difference
means,
between meaning of a word and what the term
you just
represents
said
the
you may
meaning.
not have a word for leche or milk, but leche is the word. But we're talking about
Oh my gosh.
haqiqatan, the understanding of haqiqatan.
You're not tracking.
We can explain the derived understanding of haqiqatan within the English language. Now, for exact equivalence, meaning a word, for example, when we say physicality, we can get a word, be jismi, right, within physicality by his body. I mean, jismi can mean physical or body.
Okay.
We can have equivalence, but with haqiqatan, I can give you the definition, meaning something that exists literally, perceived by the five senses without being bound by space, time, and continuum,
Fine.
and so on.
No problem.
Now, that is, again, this is why I hold
No
to.
problem. Okay, let's go back to a simpler thing, because I feel like maybe the audience might be confused or whatever. Let's go back to a very, very simple thing, okay? Because you might be understanding what I'm saying, but maybe they won't be understanding. So let me just use this very simple analogy. For example, you as a human being, you are made of a body and a soul. Even in Jannah, a body, soul, spirit, whatever, you are made of those categories. Are you made of anything other than those categories?
Body, soul, and spirit.
Yeah. So by soul and spirit here, I mean
It just means essence, right?
yeah, the essence of you, right?
Sure.
Your
But
essence is
in Arabic
constituted
language,
of both
essence-
body and soul.
essence for the Arabic language is just nafsi, that in of itself.
Do you
That-
guys mean the same thing as I do when I use the word essence? It doesn't matter about the
Like, if
language.
soul
It matters
you
about the meaning.
If soul, again, sure, I can grant you, sure.
Okay.
I don't want to go into
So by essence, you mean what something is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you are in Jannah is going to be composed of a physical body and a soul.
I mean, the soul, sure, I can grant you that.
Okay. Fine.
I mean, consciousness, sure. But like, soul in of itself, we believe like is subject to like life.
Okay.
We believe we're eternal. in general.
Okay. Okay.
Sure, but yeah.
When I say okay.
No, just continue arguing.
The reason why I try to use my terms, for example, right, is not only because it's in English, but
this
I
is
want
why I
to
don't
I want to
debate
see I want to
metaphysics
see
to
I know, but I want to see if me and you can agree on not the supposition of the word, meaning what the word represents, but on the signification of the word, meaning what the word means. That's what I'm trying to get to you. So,
But
if me and you,
we're
me
not
and
going to
you
agree
might
on
not.
meanings because I don't. You
Okay.
don't speak Arabic. You don't know our philosophy. You
Okay.
don't know how our metaphysicians
Okay.
define it. So
Okay.
there's no point in
Okay. So listen. It's not that there's no point. You can use examples as well. You don't have to say the word out loud. Look, for example,
Yeah.
I'm asking you a simple question. Human beings have the body, the soul, and the mind. In Jannah, would you agree or disagree? Maybe I'm not speaking Arabic, but would you agree or disagree?
Sure, generally we'll have consciousness and a body and soul. Yeah.
Okay. And but consciousness for me is awareness. Would you agree?
Sure, the ability to
Okay.
think, feel.
You see how me and you are agreeing on the content when I expose the meaning behind the word? Now, so consciousness,
We agree in general.
right. So consciousness is awareness. Awareness for me is developed or made or constituted or principled by the mind and the soul. Would you agree?
Yeah. What? Sorry. Repeat that.
And the body, I guess, because
Repeat that again.
so consciousness is made by the mind, the soul, and the body. That's how human beings are conscious.
The body has nothing to do with consciousness, but yeah, the mind.
But the body is
mind,
what allows
the mind,
consciousness.
The mind.
Yeah, it's
The body allows you to be able to enact upon that consciousness.
right.
But
So
the
when you
consciousness
say
is
that the
based
body has nothing to do with consciousness, that's a blunder because when you're asleep, you're not conscious. So obviously the body has something to do with consciousness.
We're talking about enacting upon that consciousness.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's a passive thing. I agree with you. No problem. Now, so you agree consciousness, right, is constituted by the mind, body, and soul for human beings, right? So all the categories that human beings have in Jannah is the mind, body, soul, and consciousness,
And anything Allah can attribute towards that side, yeah. Because I don't believe, like, you're already conflating that mind, body,
Wait.
and soul and the modality of it is going to be the same
Okay.
way applying it in Jannah.
Wait.
I don't believe.
Okay,
By the
wait.
way, Try and make this
When you say-
I bypassed on this.
Okay, no problem. You stayed for the
4
conversation. I
minutes.
respect. Oh, you said you have 4 minutes left? Okay, no problem.
Because I want to get more
Okay.
conversation.
When you say anything Allah attributes to you, I'm interpreting you as saying anything Allah that
No,
gives you
Allah
that
gives you meaning, ability-wise.
yeah,
Now,
which would be spiritual or physical, right?
okay, when we're talking about spiritual and physical, this
Yeah.
is why we're not agreeing. I don't like, again, within our...
You don't like the term, but
yeah,
do you-
within our philosophers, within our metaphysical physicians, like Ibn Taymiyyah, he uses the word haqiqatan, which the only really equivalence I can give to you is literally in the English language, which means that you can perceive X, Y, and Z, you can do X, Y, and Z, you can exist X, Y, and Z without being based by time, space, and atoms. Meaning, Allah exists haqiqatan, but He's outside of creation.
Yeah, no problem.
Meaning He
Yeah.
literally exists. But
Yeah.
now, do we have to say spiritually exists? No.
No. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. So, for example, in John 5:26, Jesus Christ says, Hey, sing! Hey, sing! So, tap him. What you saying, bro? What you saying? What you saying, my brother? That's my cousin. Hey, but look. So in John 5:26, it says, "Hutos ke eduken," right? Zoen en auto. For the same way that Father has life or existence in Himself is the same way He's granted the Son to have existence in Himself. Now, some people back then didn't understand. Zoen could mean life. Zoen could mean existence.
Existence.
Right. So, but me and you can agree now what Zoen signifies.
Existence literally, but the modality of that existence isn't going to be the same. Yeah, the Zoe.
Yeah, but but what the existence is, what it is gonna be divine.
Existence.
It's gonna be spiritual.
Again, yeah, you can say spiritual. I would say that the Father, when he's saying Zoan, it'd be haqiqatan. Literally, he exists.
Yeah.
But the existence in modality with Jesus is going to be different. Because the modality of Jesus, when he incarnated, has to be bound by space.
Okay, wait. He says, just we're not debating John 5:26 right now, but the point is,
my point is, within your theology, you can define it as sure,
as spiritual. The reason why I say it's
within your theology.
Because it says God is spirit, right? It says God is spirit. Yeah. Okay. So you don't believe Allah is spirit?
Yeah, because spirit defines spirit.
Yeah. So spirit means immaterial, meaning it's the negation of extension. It's the negation.
Because in our
what do you mean not necessarily?
In our
my
theology,
definition.
Spirits are basically jinn and so on. From ilm al-ghaib, from the knowledge of the unseen, and hayat al-ghaib, the life of the unseen. I believe God in himself, he's his own so spirit. Loss is, for example, the same way human is.
Yeah.
Masses of existence.
Okay, would you agree?
Humans are thaqal, so that's why Allah says thaqalan.
Okay, wait. Look, would you agree Allah is not material?
I mean, if by material, again, this is very complicated.
Meaning Allah does not have extension.
Meaning he's not bound by space, time, and atoms.
He doesn't have extension.
Okay, no issue. That's fine.
He doesn't have space.
He doesn't have space, time, and atoms.
Yeah, forget about atoms. He doesn't have space.
Space, time, and atoms. Yeah, I'm saying he doesn't have that.
Forget about the atoms.
Yes,
he doesn't have any space. Okay.
No,
fine.
I'm saying space, time, and
okay,
atoms.
The reason. Oh my God.
I can't even hear you.
It's okay. We're gonna cut it short. But it was a good conversation. I like that. That was a good conversation.